The birth of a baby brings untold laughter and joy to a family. But when one family, last year, had theirs, something really strange happened. All the while, the family never even knew they had been sitting on an explosive secret, despite several warnings from a neighbor. Then, 40 years later, they learned something absolutely shocking. In March 1978 in Moldova, Vera and her husband Nikolai had a baby, Tatiana. They were over the moon after her birth and couldn't wait to watch her and her older brother Anatoly form a magical bond. He had always looked forward to having a sister he could protect, so they were glad they could finally give him one. As for Vera, she looked forward to wearing matching outfits with her daughter and doing everything mums and daughters do. But from the moment the child was born, she would watch everything slip away from her hands. And it all started when the little girl came out of her mother's tummy. It was from that point that something seemed very odd. During pregnancy, a woman produces several hormones, including oxytocin. Also, immediately when new babies are born, they are placed directly on their mother's chest. This skin-to-skin contact also aids the release of oxytocin, and it helps the mother and child to bond specially. This hormone also causes a newborn to seek out and latch onto its mother's breast. However, all these processes start during the gestation period, and that's where the baby bonds with the mother. But in Vera's case, everything seemed wrong. When the doctor placed the baby on her chest, she cried and showed a high level of discomfort. This left the health personnel and the baby's mom so worried. However, they thought all the tears and discomfort would pass in a few days or weeks in the worst-case scenario. But that assumption was really wrong. When Tatiana was finally discharged from the hospital, her parents were glad. They thought she wasn't comfortable in the hospital environment, so they thought being in a serene environment would make a big difference in her life. Unfortunately, the moment they got home, what ensued wasn't anywhere close to the beautiful things they had imagined. Tatiana's frequent crying even increased, and she didn't want to feed on her mother's breast. She was very cranky. For some odd reasons, Vera also couldn't connect with her daughter. But little did this young mother know that none of this was just ordinary, and that she was in the dark about something no mother could have ever dreamt of. Regardless of all this, her parents loved her even more. They also hoped that as she grew, she would drop her strange habits. But what fate had in store for them was something quite shocking. As Tatiana grew, she developed some even more weird habits. Sometimes she was happy with her family, and other times she treated them like total strangers. Before long, the neighbors noticed all these, and they spread a dark rumor. And soon, the family would be forced to abscond their cherished home. When Tatiana turned 6 years old, the neighbors saw that she acted and looked so different from her family, and they spoke about some absurd things in open and secret places. When Vera eventually got to know about what everyone was saying, it was too much for her to hold in. One day, she was walking in a park with her daughter when she caught some passerby staring at the young girl oddly. Just then, her ears picked up something very disturbing. Vera heard them loud and clearly when they said she was raising the wrong baby because Tatiana didn't look like anyone in her family. That day, Vera had to force her tears back, but the rumors only continued. Soon, Vera and her husband learned the neighbors thought they were hiding an open secret. They accused them of adopting Tatiana and hiding it from the rest of the world. This went on until the couple had it up to their necks. And as for Vera, she didn't want to raise her daughter amid so much drama, terror, and confusion. It was already too much that she couldn't even understand her biological daughter, so she didn't need the neighbors to add to their pain. So she and Nikolai came to a decision. They had determined to move away from Moldova to the United States. But just when they were about to, a truth surfaced. A week before the family was set to leave, one woman, who was a family friend and neighbor, came in to have a conversation with them. In the living room that day, she revealed some very bizarre details. First, she told them about a baby who was living in her sister's neighborhood. That baby, according to her, was also born around the same time as Tatiana. But it was the next thing this woman said that made Vera scared stiff. Just like Tatiana, that baby also cried and refused to feed on her mother's bosom. This woman, who was also a close relative to that baby's family, then told them that the little girl had also been born on the same day, year, time, and even in the same hospital as Tatiana. While this news shocked Vera and her husband, what this woman said next made them think that life was a movie. She revealed that the little girl looked like them, while Tatiana, their daughter, bore a striking resemblance to the other couple. Now this was a very bitter pill to swallow, and the woman's words only made the couple want to run away even more. So that weekend, the family left their home. leaving behind a truth that would only haunt them for the rest of their lives. They finally settled in North Carolina and eventually moved to Ohio. But during this period, they still couldn't run away from the life in Moldova. The rumors remained deeply in their mind, and soon they felt a deep longing for the truth, and they began a search. While it was a little too hard to locate people in the 1990s, the advent of social media in the early 2000s made it easy to look up just anyone's name online. So the family decided to give it a try. They remembered that the woman had given them the name of the other baby as Valentina Sulman. So in August 2017, Tatiana, now in her 30s, and her brother searched for the name Valentina Sulman. It was like a moment of truth that they had all been waiting for. When they typed the name, one woman's Facebook profile popped up. Her bio showed that she was also from Moldova, and this made the siblings' hearts skip. Perhaps the rumor was right all along. Glancing through her pictures, Anatoly noticed the strange woman had dark-colored hair and eyes, just like his dad. They then took their search further, hoping it would lead to a beautiful truth. They messaged the woman and told her the entire details. Even though she was shocked to learn such weird things, she also found herself thirsty for the truth. So she quickly forwarded her childhood pictures to the siblings, and they were stunned at just how much she looked like Vera and Nikolai. The resemblance was so striking for anyone to ignore, but just pictures and mere dates weren't enough to reach any conclusions, so the family decided to do a DNA test. In October 2017, the family went for a DNA test, organized with the help of a Russian TV show that reunites families. When the results came out, the rumors about Valentina and Tatiana turned out to be true. Valentina's DNA was a 99.9% match to Vera and Nikolai's. Indeed, Valentina was their biological daughter, not Tatiana. All members of the family were shocked by the revelation, and they wept uncontrollably. But it was also a beautiful and emotional reunion. After much research, the families learned that the nurses at the hospital where the girls were born had made an enormous error. The nurses had mistakenly switched the babies when returning them from a bath shortly after their birth. Although decades had passed and the girls missed out on a lot with their real families, they were equally happy that they had been raised by the perfect parents, who also showered them with so much love and attention. The girls are now trying to form a long and lasting relationship with their families. As for Valentina, who remained in Moldova, life hadn't been easy on her. She's a single mother to a 6-year-old daughter, and also a surrogate mother to her nephew. Meanwhile, her biological family is making efforts to bring her and her 2 children to move to the USA. Hopefully their plans work out. On the other hand, Tatiana has also visited her real family in Moldova. Unfortunately, her real father passed away, but she and her mom are stopping at nothing to cover up for all the times lost. Anatoly has also assured her that no DNA test can come between them, and they would be siblings forever. This story illustrates that everything comes at its appointed time. No matter how long it takes, the truth prevails. It's fascinating how 2 babies got switched at birth, and as fate would have it, they still got to meet their biological parents. Now they're just one big family. I wish them a beautiful life filled with plenty of joy and happiness. How did you feel when the girls learned about their real parents?